In my previous video, I compared the light novels and the 2019 movie of Youjo Senki. But there was one major piece missing, the manga. And surprisingly, this is where the story changes the most, so I had to cut that part for another video. And since I already had most of the script written, you didn't have to wait long. Unlike season 1, where I think the manga was actually more faithful than the anime, this time, I believe the opposite is true, thanks to all the additions to the lore in the manga. Now let's talk about the novels versus the manga. We know that the movie is adapting the final chapters of Volume 3 and the majority of Volume 4 of Carlo Zen's light novels, where we see the Southern Campaign, Tanya's deployment to the frozen Eastern Front, and the start of the Empire's war with the Russi Federation. In the manga, this covers approximately from Volume 21, all the way to Volume 33. The changes in the manga start from the very first chapter of the Southern Campaign. And if you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe. Now let's continue. We start the Southern Campaign in the manga with a flash forward to the future, 40 years after the war. General von Romel's wife is giving a speech at a community center that was once an orphanage, located in what used to be the Empire and is now the Federal Republic, and she intends to make her husband's memoirs public. In them, the general recounts his experiences during the final years of the war. She also states that these memoirs may hold significant historical value, as they were not subjected to post-war censorship like many other books and military documents from that era. Then we return to the present, where the Empire's expeditionary forces carried out a devastating amphibious assault on the port of Enfidable, which was controlled by the Free Republic. After an aerial bombardment, infantry troops landed and occupied the port. The commander-in-chief of the expeditionary forces was none other than General von Romel. Seeing that there are no signs of the Republican army as far as the Politoloi region, since de Lugo has not yet properly organized his forces on the southern continent, Romel decides to keep advancing. The expeditionary forces keep accumulating victories throughout the continent. One of the smaller changes is my goat Romel's personality. In the novel he's more serious and professional, but the manga portrays him as goofier and his triumphs appear more like whims of the moment instead of strategic brilliance. The story shifts to de Lugo trying to counter-attack Romel's moves but failing every time, making him look incompetent. Poor de Lugo got done dirty in the manga and the Free Republic in general, because we got hyped up with a manga original group of elite ace mages known as the Three Musketeers, but they got intercepted by the 203rd Mage Battalion, commanded by Tanya, who are equipped with additional components that grant them enhanced flight power, courtesy of the mad scientist Dr. Shuggle. The battle against the self-proclaimed Three Musketeers is no battle at all. They got easily defeated by Visha, Kenny, and Newman. The 203rd annihilates the Free Republican Mage battalions, and without air support, the enemy infantry is forced to retreat. There is also a confrontation between Vianto, who takes advantage of the absence of the 203rd Battalion to attack Romel, and Lieutenant Colonel Deborah, Romel's escort. The battle appears evenly matched. This gives Tanya and her battalion time to arrive to the fight, cornering Vianto, and, look, another Vianto fan service. Anyways, he fails his mission and retreat. Tanya meets with Romel, and they discuss what happened. Both are surprised by how easy it is to communicate with each other, especially considering Tanya's past experiences with superiors who misunderstood her. Romel is different, almost as if he thinks the same way she does. It's here that we know that the idea for Romel to have a diary comes from Tanya. We also see an expansion of a discussion from the novel that was omitted. In the movie and anime, where Zetur presents his suggestions for the strategy to be carried out on the southern continent, sending the expeditionary forces to the high command of the Imperial Army. And now, that they have faced two enemies at the same time again, Zetur proposes stationing troops in the Dodavir Strait to contain a possible naval invasion by the Commonwealth and to consolidate their presence in the occupied republic. Like in the novel, some generals agree but do not understand why the Southern Front is being prioritized instead of focusing on the Commonwealth. Zetur explains that since the Commonwealth is an ally of the Free Republic, it will inevitably send volunteers to support the southern continent. This will make it easier to strike the Commonwealth from its colonies instead of them attacking their mainland, because to do so they would have to face its naval supremacy, which is impossible. That leaves only one option: achieving air superiority. The Commonwealth's mages are powerful, as seen in the 203rd Battalion's last engagement. Therefore, the only remaining strategy is to drain their strength by forcing them to deploy to the southern continent, weakening the island's main defenses. At the same time, with Imperial forces occupying Republican territory, they will be able to suppress guerrilla fighters. Returning to the south, Romel is furious about the lack of good food being sent to them and is worried that the troops can't fight properly because of this. Tanya praises Romel's relationship with his soldiers, his concern for them, and his love for his country. However, she also recalls his main weakness in the manga, his impulsiveness. This is proven when he runs off as soon as he hears that an abandoned Republican supply warehouse has been found. And it looks like this will be the manga version of the OVA, Operation Pasta, but we see that Romel is deeply disappointed when he discovers that it contains several boxes of tea leaves, possibly supplied by the Commonwealth. Another edition of the manga is a mission where Romel personally, with the help of Grant's platoon as escorts, search for the 166th Armored Reconnaissance Battalion. The news that General Romel had rescued a lost unit in the desert stirred enthusiasm among the imperial population, and public opinion shifted towards sending more volunteers to the southern continent to support the fight. This is important because the manga reframes Romel not just as a strategist, but as a symbolic wartime hero meant to boost imperial morale. Next, the manga depicts Youjo making a quick visit to inspect the supplies and takes the opportunity to tell Tanya that there have been suspicious movements on the international stage, and this makes him uneasy. Tanya has no interest in getting involved in anything dangerous, so she evasively replies that she can't do anything to help while being so far south, thus distancing herself from all responsibility. One of two major additions to the lore of the Youjo Senki manga, in my opinion, is the mentions of the 5 Aces of Aces, the most powerful aerial mages in the Imperial Army. In chapter 74 of the manga, when the reporters in the future ask Romel's wife about her husband, we know more about the Aces, their alias and who they were. In first place we have the troubadour. Colonel George von Saxon, of noble birth, was stationed on the Northern Front, with over 300 casualties and 900 tanks destroyed. He wiped out most of the Entente mages in Norden until Tanya's battalion arrived during the Ostjord landing operation. He will be important later. Second place is obviously our protagonist, Tanya von de Geerchaff, alias White Silver. As we already know much about her, let's go to the third place. The Elder, or the Veteran. He was a sergeant serving on the Rhine front, later promoted to lieutenant. His name is Shones. He fights alongside Tanya and Visha before Tanya goes to War College, in chapter 4. His signature move is walking while flying. His group also joined Tanya's battalion during the revolving door operations. The fourth place, we already know from her previous fight with Vianto in the Southern Front. Known as the Sword of Light, Deborah von Edelreich was the second mention of the Ace of Aces after Tanya we read in the manga. She and Tanya are friendly, and when Romel asks her who is stronger, she tells him there is no way she can beat the Devil of the Rhine. It was revealed that she was a princess of the Empire and that Tanya's accomplishments in the southern continent were attributed to her. And lastly, we have Black Gloves. I couldn't find his name in the manga. He's first seen in chapter 42, discussing the V-1 rocket program with his partner, Dr. Shuggle. He's a genius scientist, the inventor of the explosion spell and other spells. He was severely injured while testing the Elenium Type 95, forcing him into permanent retirement. Apparently, the Type 95's miracle was meant for him, as Being X told Tanya in later chapters. He was shown wearing black gloves due to his injury, hence the alias. The troubadour stated in chapter 82 that black gloves wouldn't be active on the front lines unless the Empire was on the verge of destruction. We then see the reunion of the Celestials in the Divine Realm. That happens just like in the novel, and if you don't know about the Divine Realm, it's where the higher beings reside. We go to the Russi Federation side. The Central Committee of the Communist Party in Moskva is in the middle of a session. The recent display of strength by the Imperial Army on the southern continent has set off their alarms. They estimate that within the next 12 months, the Empire's armed forces will recover most of their power, and its continental hegemony will be more than secure. Amid this alarmist discourse, a reasonable voice suggests that it would be best to establish bilateral relations with the Empire, with whom they have no real rivalry. In this way, they would ensure the survival of both countries. However, the Federation's second-in-command Loria disagrees and believes that the Empire is a threat to their sovereignty. Since the capture of Alexandria, the Imperial Army has positioned itself dangerously close to the Federation's oil fields. And despite the lack of evidence that the Empire intends to seize these resources, Loria manages to sow fear among his comrades. In the manga, Loria is more deranged and seeks war with the Empire just for the sake of violence, instead of true paranoia as in the novels, but his ability to manipulate the opinions of the members of the Central Committee remains the same. Joseph supports this proposal, pointing out that what the motherland needs is a victory to unite the world's proletariat. A war against the evil empire, followed by victory, will raise communism above all else and spread it to other nations. They all support their leader's opinion. Tanya encounters Major von Leinberg, a former classmate from the War College. He too was one of the 12 knights, like Tanya, but he held a higher rank than her and is now second in command of the battle group with which the 203rd Battalion will be working. In one of the battles where Delugo tries to halt Romel's advance, Major Leinberg is killed. Tanya, next in line, has to command the 7th Battle Group, which has about 3,000 soldiers. Tanya complains about having so much responsibility, but, true to form, she does an excellent job. However, in the end, she requests the withdrawal of the battle group's command, and Romel agrees. Then we see a Commonwealth agent warning Delugo that his Provisional Defense Council, seeing his multiple defeats, wants to replace him. This angers his men, but the agent also tells him that they and the Unified States are on his side. So, as in the novel, Delugo gets rid of the Defense Council and plans to deceive Romel so he can, at last, defeat him, but we already know how that ends. The only difference is that after Tanya attacks the Free Republic's Central Command, Viento faces her. Although he puts up a good fight, he loses, but don't worry, he's still alive and gives us another bit of fan service before he leaves. Good man. Then Romel tells Tanya that she has been summoned to the capital. What I don't like in the manga, is that both Tanya and Viento, and I think several mages as well, always remove their inhibitors to become stronger, like Tanya did in her first fight against Anson Su's battalion. This is a dangerous move and should have left them badly injured afterward, but in the manga, it seems commonplace, not a last resort when truly desperate, like Tanya was at the time. Also, the fact that the chapters onward imply that Tanya should command more soldiers, like she did with the 7th Combat Group, as a foreshadowing of her future Kampfgruppe, I don't know, I liked it more when it was completely unexpected. These are all the changes and additions in the manga of this campaign. Let's go to the next front. And if you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe. Now let's continue. Upon returning to the capital, Tanya and her battalion observe that it is heavily defended, with patrol control and a large defensive network. However, upon closer inspection, they notice that the mages defending the skies are new cadets in training that are almost Tanya's age. And then we see a discussion that unfolds between the Drake in the movie, William, who will go to Moskva, and his younger brother, who will stay behind to train the volunteer army of the Unified States. His younger brother complains about wanting to go to Moskva, but William tells him that he has to do a good job training them, that among the new recruits there is someone with latent magical power who could surpass them, clearly referring to Mary Sue. The manga introduces the Emperor of the Empire for the first time being briefed on the current state of the Empire and how, if the war continues, the Empire will not end well. We also have a special episode where we get a glimpse into the future of Grance's family. His younger sister, Ursula, has just passed away, and his granddaughter, Dorlis, who also possesses great magical power, is searching through her grandmother's belongings and finds letters written by Grants to his family. These letters were never delivered to Ursula because Grants didn't return after that mission, and her father feared that Ursula too will join the army, being inspired by her brother. We also see one of the few pictures there must exist of Tanya after the war. Some members of the family want to read the letters, but Dorlis convinces them to bury them with her grandmother. After all, the letters were hers. In the end, we see an adult Tanya, showing us that she survived the war and is doing well. We also learn that mages with large amounts of mana age slower than ordinary people, and I couldn't help but remember the ending of the Green Mile movie. Next, while Mary Sue is training, they are sent on a mission to distract Imperial forces in Imperial Legadonia airspace. The idea is that during an official flight exercise, they will deviate slightly from their flight path and enter Imperial airspace, a common mistake during training. However, this distraction allows the first group of her older brother's volunteers to reach the Russian Federation without detection. Everything goes smoothly, but they don't expect to encounter the Troubadour, who antagonizes them. With his immense power, he takes down many of the new cadets. Mary can instinctively understand and recreate the spells used by the Troubadour and Drake. When the situation is truly desperate, Mary thinks of her father and demonstrates her great power, frightening the Imperial forces and giving hope to the Commonwealth. Mary kills the Troubadour, raising the morale of the enemy nations of the Empire. Here, Mary has the same attitude as her movie counterpart, wanting to continue attacking the Empire's forces and having to be stopped by force. This is the version of Mary Sue I dislike the most. Some will say it's the version with the best chance of defeating Tanya, but I find her way too overpowered, though they're all like that in the manga. In the movie, she's a one-note revenge machine from the get-go. In the novels, her descent into obsession is a process, with novel Mary being much more grounded initially. It's only after her confrontation with Tanya that her obsession and recklessness begin, making her, in my opinion, more realistic, but I'm still on Tanya's side. Well, news of the troubadour's death travels throughout the empire, and Deborah is summoned to the capital, as is shown in chapter 83. He is ordered to remain in the rear to train new recruits, fearing the loss of even more ace of aces. Visha tells Tanya about the death of the empire's strongest mage. It is revealed that the troubadour was related to Lieutenant Grants, and Tanya tells him that he is now his successor. Knowing that this will only embolden the empire's enemies, they must demonstrate to the world that the empire remains strong and will win this war. That's why their attack on Moskva was so exaggerated. Personally, I prefer that they attacked the capital so intensely simply out of Tanya's hatred for communists. Also, poor Tanya, why was she the only one not recalled to the rear? Returning to the story, Tanya has a dream where she finds herself in her past as the salaryman, on the day he fires the employee who will later kill him. Now she wants to be more understanding with him, and she realizes this is a dream from Being X, who tells her that her attitude has improved a little. Tanya asks to return to her new world. Being X tells her that he didn't expect her to have so much influence on the events of that world and that even he can make mistakes. Maybe the cause of this is the divine relic she was given. He never meant to create such an imbalance. He says that if she wants something, he will give it to her, showing her the generosity of a god. Tanya wants to be taller, but Being X doesn't grant her wish. We see here that perhaps Being X is winning, since even if Tanya's faith isn't awakening, her attitude is changing for the better. The attack on the capital is very similar to the one in the movie, except we see one of the higher beings speaking to Joseph, calling him an apostle and showing him the end of his ideology and his land, telling him he is a coward. Why are the higher beings such bullies? Joseph begs to be saved, and the being replies that this was the intention and gives him his protection. Swords and bullets will not harm him, and his protection can only be countered with a miraculous power similar to the one he just granted. He leaves, but not before warning him of an apostle from the east who will come to punish him in the name of God, and that he should fight with grace. Later, he awakens to see the attack on his capital. It is thanks to the angel's protection that it is difficult to attack the Kremlin, but Tanya uses Alinium-95 and succeeds. Just like in the movie, William challenges the 203rd Battalion, but here he goes of his own volition instead of following Mary Sue to protect her. He wants to fight Tanya, but instead fights Visha, mistaking her for the devil of the Rhine. Unlike in the movie, Tanya defeats him, and he is so badly wounded that he can no longer fight. We also see that the group of mages from the Commonwealth he is with are veterans and call themselves the Round Table, but they are as useless as the musketeers and are easily defeated. The news of the attack on Moskva is circulating around the world, and we continue with the events in Tyenhof, where everything happens very similarly to the novel. But after rescuing the two divisions and leaving her men celebrating, Tanya has another conversation with the Being X, who I believe gives her some very interesting information and is the second greater change of the manga. He reiterates that it was a coincidence that she possessed the relic, as it was destined for someone who would seek greatness. He warns her about Mary Sue and her immense power, explaining that it was a mistake to grant her 3 different blessings. He says Mary Sue is too powerful an apostle, so much so that even they will find it difficult to remove her, and that she harbors an extreme hatred for the empire, which could be a major obstacle for her. Being X also warns her about Joseph's miracle, which was also a mistake, since miracles are triggered by strong desires. He says that humanity's progress in that era has reached its maximum potential, and that sending her to that world wasn't a punishment, but given how things have unfolded, her path is now more dangerous than intended. Being X gives her a choice: go to another world or stay. If she stays, she can return the Alinium-95 and witness the Empire's fall, remaining merely an exemplary soldier, or she can accept more miracles and become the strongest apostle, capable of molding the history of her world. Tanya tells him to simply end the war, but Being X cannot do that because it is the most effective way to instill faith in the people, which angers Tanya. Tanya wants to reject both options. Being X tells her she will lose everything she has achieved and fought for, but Tanya insists she shouldn't be underestimated and that she will find a way. Being X tells her she hasn't changed much and mocks her a little. He suggests that perhaps the next time they meet will be when she is dead. Tanya tells him to leave and that if he truly wants to help her, he should make her taller. But Being X says that she rejected his miracles and to cope, leaving Tanya angry and thoughtful. Honestly, Being X surprised me here. It was great that he gave Tanya so much information. We see that their relationship has changed a bit, and although they still don't get along, they're more friendly with each other. At least they can have a good conversation now without fighting, unlike in the anime where they absolutely hate each other, or in the novel where, after reincarnating her, Being X is absent. I don't know, I think I like this version of Being X better, he's more fun. What I also find curious is that when he gives Tanya the options for new worlds where she can reincarnate, he alludes to 2 of Carlo Zen's other works. Does that mean he's actually Being X? If you're wondering which universes Tanya can go to, they're Baikoku Kirin, another historical fiction series, and Yakitori, a science fiction series. Then we have the battle at the end of the movie, only without the presence of enemy mages, and the addition of a friend of Tanya's from the orphanage, Second Lieutenant Becker, who dreamt of entering the military to protect everyone in the orphanage. Being the eldest, he felt a little jealous of Tanya surpassing him and he died helping Battalion 203 in battle, something that Tanya regretted. We go to Tanya's trial in the capital Birun, ending with her discussion with Zetur. There is no major changes between the manga and the novel except that during Tanya's trial, her battalion goes to a facility for wounded soldiers where Visha reunites with her friend Elia. The battalion is being watched, they think is because they might snap since Tanya is being court-martialed. Then we see Weiss actually snapping because he will be promoted and the battalion doesn't need 2 majors, but the battalion calms him down. Back in the Federation, Loria asks for the release of the mages in the concentration camps, to fight the Empire. Then we see Tanya on her new posting at the Dodabird Strait about to have her first confrontation with Mary Sue like in the novel and we meet with Shones again. This is as far as I've read in the manga so far. I know that volume 33 of the manga follows the Battle of Dodavir but I haven't read it nor I have the means to read it at the moment so, I will end the video here. To summarize, perhaps the Southern Campaign has the most changes as in the novel. It is a very short campaign compared to the other fronts and the manga wanted to give us more time with Goat Romel, totally understandable. We see the addition of the Ace of Aces of the Empire, and we see an ex-classmate of Tanya and a friend from the orphanage who were killed in action. Romel and Loria have some changes in their personalities, Mary Sue being overpowered and the greatest change is Being X and Tanya being friendlier with each other. More than anything, the manga transforms this arc from a military chronicle into a character-driven reinterpretation of the war itself. What is your favorite change in the manga? Do you prefer the movie's focused approach, the novel's exhaustive detail, or the additions to the lore from the manga? And do you think we are going to see an anime version of the Dodavir battle in season 2 or go directly with the formation of Tanya's Kampfgruppe? Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking the video, subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon for more videos of Youjo Senki. Until next time.